All right, in this video, I want to go over the Jewish calendar and how they actually use the moon to start the month and to dictate when the Sabbath is. And how I came to this was looking in Exodus and Deuteronomy, in the Torah basically, and I noticed they would talk about the first month, second month, and the third month, and on each one of these months, the Sabbath was on an 8th, a 15th, 22nd. And that cannot happen on consecutive months unless you're using a lunar calendar. You see, if the first month you have a Sabbath on the 8th over here, when you get to the next month, it can't happen. You got a 6th and the 13th, right? And then after that, it's on the 5th, the 12th, and what have you. But if you use a lunar calendar to dictate your month, and you search the scriptures, and if you do so, you'll find that all the Sabbaths mentioned that actually have a date of the month that it's on, it'll be on an 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th. And for that to happen, the Sabbath actually changes from what day of the week it is. So on this one, I decided to start it out on a Saturday just because people say the seventh day of the week is Saturday, and that's the Jewish Sabbath. So this month, going by the lunar calendar, boom, it's right there, 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th. But then next month, the 1st is on a Monday. And then the 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th are all Mondays. Those are the Sabbaths. It's on a Monday now. Month after that, it's Tuesday. Month after that, it's Thursday. Because you see, the lunar cycle is at 29 and a half days. So in the first month, you're going to have 30 days because of that half day. It's going to squeeze in there for 30 days. But then the next month, you're going to probably have 29 because it's missing the half from the first month, and then the half from this month. You're missing a day, so you get 29 days. That's why this next month here starts on the 30th and not the 31st. And that's why down here I got 30 days again, and the 1st is over. Another day here. So when we have the end of the Sabbath here on the 29th, just 2 days later, new moon, we got another Sabbath. And that dictates the Sabbaths for the rest of the month. And we see this in the time when Jesus was crucified. And it's very, very interesting here because Jesus was crucified on the 14th of Nisan. And we don't know if that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And honestly, it doesn't matter. But let's just say it's on a Friday, right? Just to make sense to us who are on the Gregorian calendar. The 15th of the month is unleavened bread. The 16th of the month is first fruits. These holidays or holy days are back to back to back. And in order for this to fit, they have to be like this. I know a lot of people, they get caught up in the whole 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. I can't make sense of that. But Jesus, well, I shouldn't say Jesus says it, one of the angels tells the people who come to see Jesus when he's in the tomb, he says, yeah, don't you remember him telling you that he's going to be delivered in the hands of sinners and on the 3rd day be raised up? Well, here's the first day he was given into the hands of sinners, and then 2, 3, the 3rd day he rises. So that fits. It also fits because looking into the scriptures, you see that Jesus came out of the tomb right around dawn on the first day of the week, which we're going to call Sunday, just to make sense of this. So, first day of the week, which actually could be any day, but we're just going to say Sunday. It was about sunrise, because it talks about it still being dark, but then the sun is coming up, so it's not quite the start of the day, and there's an earthquake because an angel removes the stone away from the tomb. So that's when Jesus actually comes out. So that's first fruits right there. That has to be on the first day of the next week. And unleavened bread always lands on the Sabbath, at the 7th day of the week, going by the lunar month. And then the 6th day of the week, that would be Passover. which is always, the 14th is always on the 6th day. These things don't change. It's not like, oh, 1 year it's different. No, that's how it always is, because it uses the moon. And that's the only way it actually fits. Because these appointed times, these feast days, they're back to back to back. So if you try to switch Passover to a Wednesday, well, then you make Friday first fruits. And then you try to squeeze Jesus in a few days later to the first day of the week. If the same thing happens if you go to Thursday crucifixion, then the Sabbath becomes first fruits. And Jesus rose early, even though he said to arise in the morning of the first day of the week. So the only way this fits is to have a Friday crucifixion, which I have to admit I was wrong about, because I was trying to fit in the 3 days and 3 nights. But now learning the calendar and the feast days and what have you, that's the only way it fits. Now to explain 3 days and 3 nights, I can't do it. But maybe we just misunderstanding that. Maybe there's something else to it. Because we got Jesus, you could say he's in the heart of the earth before he's in the tomb. Right? So because he gives up the ghost before they take him down. So his soul, his spirit, is in the heart of the earth. But they actually put his body in before sunset. All right? So we got one night. What we would call Friday night, he's in the tomb. Saturday night, he's in the tomb. Friday, before sunset, he's in there. So that's one day. Saturday, the actual daytime, that's 2 days and 2 nights. Now, where this third day and third night come from, I don't know. I can't explain it. But everything else fits like a glove. So I'm starting to think that this 3 days, 3 nights is, we're taking that by itself and trying to fit everything into that, when I think there's something else to it. I don't know what it is. Maybe one of you can tell me. But yeah, so that all being said, there we go. We got the Jewish calendar here and how they go by, they're supposed to go by biblically, where we read in Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 about the sun, moon, and stars are supposed to keep track of times, seasons, and all these things. We're supposed to use God's clock that's above our heads. That's what we're supposed to learn from. And we do that. This is the only way it really fits. But yeah, it also rebukes the Jews who are not going by the scriptures, by the Seventh-day Adventists who are not going by the scriptures, and the Sabbatarians who are not going by the scriptures. Because there's some people who, they don't keep the Sabbath to earn salvation or to prove they're saved. They just do it because they want to. And we're not to judge people on keeping the Sabbath or not keeping the Sabbath. So, you know, if you want to keep it correctly, you got to do it by the moon. And it's interesting because both Jews and Seventh-day Adventists will say that Rome changed times and laws. And the Seventh-day Adventists go way out to say that the Pope is the Antichrist, which I don't disagree with. But they say that he's the Antichrist and he changed laws and times, yet they're going by his laws and times. See, he changed the Sabbath, which they say he did, and he changed times, but they're going by his time keeping to follow the seventh day Sabbath, which is actually his seventh day, not God's seventh day. Like in Isaiah 66, it says, from every new moon and every Sabbath, we're going to come before God. Because the new moon dictates when the Sabbath is going to be. And it's a Sabbath itself. It's the first Sabbath of the month. And then 6 days from there is the next Sabbath of the month. And so on and so forth. And then we read in Leviticus 23 that his people have forgotten his times, forgotten the Sabbath. And if it's just the seventh day of the week, that's not easy. I mean, hard to figure out, right? I mean, you're going to forget that? Oh, yeah, it's just Saturday. How can you forget that? Well, you can forget the lunar calendar. You can forget to judge the seventh day by the moon, right? So, yeah, with that being said, learn into this stuff because that what got me into it is everybody getting caught up into this Sabbath. I mean, not the Sabbath, this rapture happening at the Feast of Trumpets on October 7th and 8th. And I was like, okay, we're going to go by God's time because it's God's appointed times that we're thinking the rapture is going to happen. Okay, well, it's not the 7th and 8th of October then because the new moon was not seen on the 6th of October. It was seen on the 7th. And that's the start of the 8th because you saw it on the night of the 7th, right? That means it's the start of the next day, according to God. The day starts at sunset. So even though you saw it on the 7th, it's actually the 8th. So that 8th is the first day of the week, first day of the month. It's a Sabbath. So it was actually the 8th and 9th to be looking for, and we're in the 10th, so that's past. But it got me very interested in looking into this stuff. And I hope this gets to other people where they can help me learn more about this. Because people look to Pentecost and they think, yeah, 50 days. They keep thinking these 50 days. And I was like, wait a second, but doesn't it say they count 7 Sabbaths? It doesn't say to count 50 days. So if you're using a lunar calendar, you're going to get a different time. And that might be why everybody's off. And maybe that's why we're learning this now. Because you see, if you're using the Gregorian calendar, you're going to say, oh, here's one Sabbath. And then 6 days later, on the 7th, the next Sabbath. So you're going to count it like that. Right? But if you're using a lunar calendar, you're going to, let's say we're going to start at the 22nd. You got one Sabbath, 2 Sabbaths. And then 2 days later, you got the 3rd Sabbath. And then for that month, you got 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you can do your next step for calculating Pentecost. But you just cut off 5 days. So you see how that works? It's actually not 50 days. So I think we really need to get into this and figure this out here. But anyway, thanks for watching and take care.